Ayana nkrofo kasa etia Nana Akufo-Addo Ghana mampani but unse adwuma na odi ahye obiansa watichem ono nko antimi nyeni nyina enti financial side onom no kenofori ata no odi share nensa na ankoye enam se o mampani eho no ebia onim nimdie oho too much enti no odi share kenofori atansa enti wanye ni a ekwan bi so no I want to be blame Nana Addo too much. Prophet Kofi Oduro and all cancer answer.
Now I was a bit surprised having heard that teaching from Prophet Kofi Oduro. Because he would usually not say things like that.
They say, Papa, baby, I'm a wura makodru, a bunuma makono, untimin kohobi. Meno. Adana Dania, Mama Kwako Hunu Adane Danino, near Bessie every year. At a say 2024 Batway, a different vibration come by Bedane Dania, by baby a Bedania Cosino Meraho. The can't say Yamian Meraho Ahu. I don't think I make us Omunian comes and any false or suffer any false. And come se bi obi ese bia untimi condemn e dane sa na papa ye wie October near November mu a ena ne ma be settle
Mama kwa family ke black media abuja yen nan se nan santem ye prophet Owusu Bermpah e de abufuo pa bobo na adwene e de manana Addo danko Akufo-Addo man nam so krampo e mo ka se wonu no ho se wode ne nkwa eto honom e de manana Addo danko Akufo-Addo man be yo man panini ni na ne se ne na wo se Nana Addo eye no wanye amfa ma no afi nso eno da nchen nso awa mo man mu aye dendenden ne obobo na adwena ma bi e kan fori atamu nyina na nso abusia ekurase waka na so onwe ye prophet Owusu Bermpah ababonten ababebo Nana Addo danko Akufo-Addo abaso pa efa policies bia wode gu na akwan mu ene ne titiriu eye free education eho abusia ochechire mu de ba bewura mu sem Nana Addo danko Akufo-Addo waya ade pa ye wono Owusu Bermpah so ye kasa won rank ya Nana Addo danko Akufo-Addo aya ade obetima ma ne be se 80 to 90% ewe na mamu mu wo bo adwuma pa ebusia oto aso ede nsem bi tudwa se ono ene wochena ne na de kye krampo ka ho onyina ba bi ankan e wa afi we se mu se party we ne befa anase party we se nti se ne nkrofo ka se o we se ne bewe ne we ne bewe no ono ye prophet Owusu Bermpah onya enkan ye send nkrofo ka so Owusu Bermpah declare say MPP ne befa no si da bi na emum e free October November mu no en wode onipa obedi nkonim e wa afia batuo mu no wode ne din e ba betudwa abusia owie en wode kokobo pa kese e de ma prophet Kofi Oduro tie wase hwe wo prophet Kofi Oduro me ba bia mawura wo honhom e won commission mu no wonya meme kakrada enti se me hye nkom akwa no tum abusia yenkotie prophet Owusu Bermpah emre sisiye
Daniel bra osofo mun kan kire me da be na ma hye nkom akire political party obewini this year men kan bibia esun konfon se ma hye nkom se party bi na bewini ena men kan hwe mesremu men hye nkom bia o men kire ni a obewini election no men kan because of me say afi we men kan enti no samuhwe social media no so na moti senkrofobia ka seso Owusu Bermpah me se obi ne be win election no political party bi anya no kre men kan bibia menim di obi win election no me se yanya ne di nipa no betena Ghana konya no so ba men hye honkom enti dia mo beti bia no mo montungu anya no kre osofo omo ma hye nkom ni nyina me believe obi an kom hye because one thing about commission is say ubetimi ahu ade enne ade be chena asesa na omo montin commission ase e na odifo bi hye nkom bi na ansi a anomo friends were false prophet kwa bama ye be kire amankofo ahunu false prophet Obia nyame nsa ono so na nyame ngosra ono so bia wonya false. Obia oyusu nsuman ene obronsam susum ene oye false. Ono no opeso osuasua nyame oye fake. Because talking kan Bible Elisha shenkom ete Joram ene Josaphat but ensisa enu nche say Elisha no a false prophet debi. Edu time bi onyame kura timi ma ne honhom ebowura edifo bi mo hyankom e de kire ohene nyame pesu okoku ohene ni nti Bible said na da honhom efiri nyame nchen enye oboronsam nchen efiri nyame nchen ene bowura edifo 400 emo mo nyina hye Ahab nkom onyame buta nyina ne se no pesu okum Ahab enti edifo no nyame honhom ene hye omomo mo hye sankom no mekan apɛ ene okan ade a na ɛwɔ sɛ etu Ahab ba Ahab wantie because no aprim na koma so wohwa Benjamin ene Israel fon tokwa no ɛwɔ apomadaka no ho ena prophetic word by say Israel fon ko no mbedi nkunim ɛwɔ Benjamin fon no so ba no mo ko wo ma ni nkunim nti emusia wo so nyame apomadaka a odifo kese sofopon and what declare that says the Lord to ono so false ana there be onya false and come share Jonah koshe no Nineveh ensi amem enunti edane enti obi betimi ahunu enne ade abekye no se na nyina yie antoto ne nyama yie bedane akobi enti se sia me no kasai eguso dane enunti ma obi nkaso obi ahyenkomtro mekai meba sofu bi ebire bi atwamu de nyame ikyira me a mekai no no so ka opposite first na oye meba sese na onye meba bi ono so ka opposite oba fie menene kasai eso se de nyame yi akyira no manfa me mpani nie no an control no me ja na mo no aka de obeka me ka chen se me say papa baby a mawura makoduru ebunu ma makono untimi nkohobi me no adane dania mama kwa kohunu adane dane no ne ebesi awieye ati say 2024 abatwe adifo ne bebre hyankom ba bedane dania ba baby a bedania kosinu mawura ho me kan se nyame ani monyam mawura ho ahunu enunti na me ka so omunyina nkomse no enya false osofa enya false enkomse bi obi ehye bia untimi nkondemu ebedane saa na papa yewie October ni ura November mu a ena ne ma be settle enunti me nhye nkom enkyere nia obewini election no ba me se eye fie ha eni esi ahen osofo na mitie prophet Kofi Oduro na a surprise me
sorry and so I was listening to Prophet Kofi Oduro and I was a bit surprised
osofo o chire prophetic ministry said it here.
And he explained the nature of the prophetic ministry.
Or dimension of prophetic ministries.
And he taught the dimensions in the prophetic ministry.
Now, it's surprising me, say Prophet Kofi Oduro, and all kinds of answers.
Now, I was a bit surprised having heard that teaching from Prophet Kofi Oduro, because he would usually not say things like that.
Okay, I can say, you were a D4, Onyame form, choose leaders, king, and now a man penny for emanations.
Now, in his teaching, he made a submission and said that there are certain prophets that God has designated and assigned to appoint and to instill kings. and leaders for nations.
And watch a different omo edo nyankopon judgment eba.
And he also thought about prophets who convey the judgment of God.
And watch a different omo ka onyame botaye nea onyame adisare so obeye ewo man.
And they also spoke about prophets who express or expose God's intention to the people.
Na de ya me ngonwa pa ene nea okae a o kire se ye wadifo bi ohonom a onyame asra omonwo se omunchusu leaders omu anointed king and a president ema o leading nation and on the Samuel a example prophet Samuel.
Now above all, what I was a bit fascinated about was the fact that he said emphatically that there are prophets that God has anointed to appoint, to raise, and to install kings and leaders for nations. And to demonstrate that point, he made reference to Prophet Samuel as an example.
And I also a different onyame do mo attach king and a president and Owusu Juwaida and Josiah and all Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar, Joseph and Pharaoh.
And in his submissions, he was talking about prophets that God anointed and assigned them to kingdoms. So he used Josiah and Jehoiada. He used Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar. He used Joseph and Pharaoh and other examples that he cited.
Politics.
Now, the reason I was excited about the teaching he was doing is that some people erroneously think that certain pastors are being merely political.
In some way, them several times.
I've said this thing right here on many occasions.
Samuel, politics.
Now, if someone,
the prophetic ministry, no.
If someone were alive today, would we have said about Samuel that he was a political prophet, or what he was doing was politics? You know, what Samuel was doing was a part of his prophetic calling. It was a feature in his prophetic ministry.
I want to say, and yes, a different politics. I am not metanti, send confor say, Ghana different Kojisika, every politicians, Ninchen Omushankum, Minianum, and Tissa.
I've often heard some people accuse prophets in Ghana that they have taken monies from some political parties, and with open face, they say things in support of the political party as though it were a prophecy, but that is not the case.
Matekransi say, my penny and Addo at $5 million. Abremi Owusu Bermpah. Tina Nansei as a make Kasaman and Yanokre.
Now I've heard some people say
it's not true
that the president has given me about $5 million, and that is why I seem to have a soft spot for him and say things that seem to be in his favor, but that is not true. Now, whatever I say or whatever I do, if what you are doing is right, I will speak about it and affirm that it is right. If what you're doing is wrong, I would also say it is wrong. I'll tell you what mistake.
Now catch him said and my now I catch us and sorry.
Now,
because no one is perfect.
Now if I do something and I err and you draw my attention to the error, I am going to admit my error and I would apologize because nobody is perfect. The person who has never made a mistake is God.
Penny and Addo. I didn't know my can for Riata. As on financial side honum where Jabibia Mano, but Papano onim a honor edumani ye or nyade. but I said obeka bia na ma pani tie eduru time bi kura no a wo so ma pani sesa no wan sesa no eso papa no ntimi nyang de no na me wie na mbaga bi o kire da akoso na am say no nana ye to aba na ma ya to aba na amasa ankrofo yi me de na me feel say ma dwenkire eno nkire say I am against him eno nkire say oye nyuma papa ama me nka.
Now, the other time I expressed an opinion about what people say about the former finance minister, Mr. Okeno Foriata, and I expressed that he had mismanaged the economy in very plain words, and the fact that it was as if the de facto president we had was Gabriel Ochiridako. Well, that was my opinion anyway. Now, the fact that I have that opinion does not mean if the president has done something which is right, I shouldn't talk about it. If he's done something and it is good, I will talk about the good thing he has done. It doesn't mean I'm against the president.
Ayana nkrofo kasa etia Nana Akufo-Addo Ghana mampani, but unse adwuma no dia hye obiansa wachichem ono nko antimi nyeni nyina enti financial side ono no Kenoforiata no de hye nensa na ankoye enam se o mampani eho no ebia onim nimdie oho too much enti no de hye Kenoforiata nsa no enti wa nyani a ekwan bi so no I want to be blame Nana Addo too much on Sadia no but near my papa or my penny Nana Addo why the Osieka. In fact, why near my papa media debia meka free education set name ya dwene obia name ya dwene free education hwe unim ana me person ka meka asem bi nanka education minister anka obetimi ayesa anka ye anka nkwala no makwan ya ohun anka onfa bills emma student biya nanka oba no de abekye na wofo senka mi ko school yi kasika we nanka mi kwa kotua anka magi afiri ho na Nana Addo atua ma wo enunti wonu se Nana Addo aya ade nanka enka ka wofo no no mu hunu se sika anka kwa kotua nya sika ketwa but o man penny Nana Addo dan kwa Akufo-Addo atua ma wo ultimately enti free education na waye no in fact o se ebona ba so eno nche se sabe o wa ma miska se men kasama no me pa cho o ma me hwe but ni a waye no mom yenka de anya ne yebeka de yeso yebeka na nsan ya mate se wakra machines bi aba akwan a first na islegon yakwa no ntokro ni nyina o man kama mi fie kwan rofo no sese o magu ni nyina so kama on sa de no baby ana ho tutu nyina sese o mu ye Nana Akufo-Addo wakra machines bebre di abagana se mfanya akwan yie enunti kasapin baby e kofa nuane free ekwan a cars efa so ana ateche no entientimi ko ni nyina o mu ye Nana Akufo-Addo na aye etimi ka se bonse mana oso bonse mana hallelujah osafo baba chiremu na omo mante twi na omo ti ono muso mu omo nsam bi
so succinctly what I would say is that there are quite a few things that he has done to his own credit, and when we mention those things, we'll consider them as a feather in his cap and an achievement in during his administration. One of it is the free SHS, which he has introduced, and it seems to be working. The advice I'm going to give to the Minister for Education is that if at the end of every term, the students were coming home, they were given a bill, which they will show their parents and say that this is the cost of the education I received in the course of the term, and that is the amount of money you are required to have paid. But the state, under the leadership of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, has paid that amount of money. I am sure that it would have reminded the parents of every child the obligation and the burden, the financial burden they carried on their shoulders, which they have been relieved of by the state. Now, other things that he has done is that he is building roads. There were so many bad roads that have been built, and there are so many others that are being built. And so I think that these are good things that he has done, that if I talk about, you and I would attest that these are factual matters which are achievements in his administration.
I believe Sir Clinton are ready, because my person
now I want us to sing and worship.
Yentia me kasa nyina ye twen krofo bi tina me kasa sa no bate enche ombedru ha enti osofo wan keka de na Kufu Addo obetena konya no so aye osofo keka osofo amobra una ye media man osofo amo bra na be keka osofo amo hwe unim aya na eme ya senkrofo se sofo su Bermpah kan ye se Addo ba obeye niema obebo omen Addo ba onye hwe wana catch us onye hwe wana catch us onye hwe osofo eno na na eme ya no osofo eba ne sa na kwa sa ase de nyame nam yeso kan ye no ase ansi but free education na president Ben wabaga na wetima ye sa de ni bi osofo di microphone na kika bi na ye media man keka kakra wunim osofo keka there free education
free education count and planting for food and jobs
and no ne there here no
oyese obeye kuya na kuya yo no enuano no ebeba dodo na ye dibi
ntina na nsan bayemuno aba bebre no okay afemitie
oba na osanso ka say oba say free education ni odi aba
free education odi aba
na aban eka say covid buy no o magana of eduane free
ampa so for what time covid o chenuane magana nyina samukai ewiasim babia Ghana penny oye Nana Kufu Addo on es American president grant me anyasa ati monke kan ye mani bi so for me tie ana I just so koko study na next week what back na they won't study but yes Kumasi airport no so yes ho ye kama
papa ye wie what is
na matise guna hafo so and also I don't know
Sunya
airport and akwan so bebre
papa last year this year now say a year of rose entina ode excavator ne de ye kwan ode ama all the district in Ghana say you find CC kwan ye what district bia
na Addo
pacha
ene na bedi akire na yes ade
pacha
na Matisse hospital biso hospital
papa say e
won off
last week ya na Okobiano
yes voter so we see hospital kasie bi voter na hono o mawie
papa ye bet
o makwa Okobiano osofo aya study de Nana Addo aye na oba no akani nyina baako se be ye obia behu se o ma penny Nana Addo aya de
one district one
ambulance o se akuapem so akosi hospital o ana metesa ne wife so akoye confirmation akoye bibi o confirmation
children am
nya no na meka Your friends and boys are Clinton, no matter them. Oh, sir, so as my man can oh, many anti Huama, oh, mamma fans. Wait, I said, and how do I add there? Hallelujah. Clinton way. Also, and you have a two jumps. Clinton way. Pray her. Me who say posters over the program. Sir, date in your date 15th September. Oh, a bit one of Ghana. This year, they mean to coin. This year, mean to coin. Many money waha kosi December year. Hallelujah. Also, may I say, me catch Miss Hassani. Also, if you say now, Osha, me catch them in one of the anti. Cheese. What's it? Touchy say. Okay. Can we assume come over anti? Maybe a fish of my crab, Bermpah. Clinton also soon fierce now. Media me papa nua bi and I come in real age actually me. Say me age ni na mogu nko but month ni dey no kre and a date no so ye no kre but age no dey. Osi akwasi me ti age na ho ya mesiri o.